This conference will now be recorded.
Which we will explain the Xecs Call 2 program. So I will start by explaining who we are as INEAS. We are an industrial association which is handling Xecs program. So I will start presenting you some introduction material.
You will have the material normally in your mailbox.
So I will maybe start by explaining what is a EUREKA cluster, because XCCS is a EUREKA cluster. You may wonder what it is. It's a joint initiative between public authorities and private organizations aiming at transnational building projects close to market. So you can see that we are working closely with public authorities, and INEAS is actually an industrial association. At its board, we have large enterprise, SMEs, and universities. But in parallel, INEAS is also working in close relationship with EPOS and Inside, industrial association, which are, I don't know if you know them, but there are two other associations also handling EUREKA programs. The benefit that we have at INEAS is that we were managing previous programs, EUREKA programs, like you may have heard or participate even from the past, Catherine, EURPIDES program, and Penta 1. XCCS is actually the successor of Penta. You can, as I also mentioned at the beginning, that INEAS is a non-profit association. It means that we are not doing benefit. We are really making the link between the industrial world of the ECCS community and the public authorities of the member states. So to be part of INEAS is free of charge. We don't have fixed charge. And the way that we are working is the fact that we are monitoring the project. And for that, we ask a small contribution when the project is labeled, not only, but funded and running. So I've already explained, it's more a graphic way to explain what is EUREKA. You will have at the end of these presentations the slides, and this meeting is also recorded. So you will be able actually to have more information, reading information. Just to mention also in this slide, the topic was to really say that you can have not only European partners in XCCS project, but you can look forward to have other cooperation. For example, we are working in close contact with Canada, Israel, Singapore, and South Korea, which we have already some running projects, because EUREKA is an international cooperation. So I invite you also to have a look to the EUREKA website if you want to know more about the countries that they are involved in EUREKA. But after, in my presentation, I will also show you some presentation of and commitment of the countries that they have committed for XCCS Call 2. So we are, the topic is the electronic components and systems. We are participating to this technical work. We are involved with the two other associations that I've already noticed at the beginning of the presentation. We work in this document, which is called the ECS3A. The new one has been just released. It is the challenges that we aim at to the project of XCCS. but also they are used also for KDT. And in this document, this technical document, you have the expertise of more than 200 technical experts. So you can also have a look to this full document by logging to the INEAS website. In this slide, I wanted to show you, because maybe some of you are not really quite familiar of the funding landscape, and it's a way to position EUREKA in this landscape. You may know, for example, some national funding instruments that you have may used, but it's also to show you that for EUREKA, we are in the boundaries of two main funding landscape. I would say the national one and more the one of the European side. But you can see that INEAS has a privileged position, because we are deeply working at EUREKA with this transnational program, but we are also working in KDT and pushing also discussion with the national public authorities for the benefit of the community. So why XECS? XECS is really creating a collaborative innovation for your company. You be part of an ecosystem by endorsing XECS project. You can build RD&I consortium and at international level. You can manage also a collaborative project, and I would like already to underline that you are not obliged to be a large group to be able to lead a project. We have, for example, some running project when we have SMEs that they are leading a project. You have access to RD&I funding, and you can, and it's last but not least, generate high economic impact, which is one of the aim of the your national public authority. So here it's another way to put the benefits of participating to such program. So I won't go deeper, but because I have already mentioned these main topics. And in this one, it's also to maybe some other aspects of being part of an international project into XECS program. It's to increase your visibility, to stimulate also ideas, to boost the competitiveness and accelerate growth, and also to shorten time to market for your company. So how XECS works, I don't know how familiar you are, but I will just quickly give you an idea of how it works to participate in one call. So today we are running the XECS Call 2, which is, we started actually end of September. We launched the XECS Call 2. We are in the period of generation of ideas. Invite you, and I will show a slide if you have the possibility to participate to a brokerage event, which is part of a bigger event this year, which is FX. This FX event will be is planned on face-to-face after 2 years of online meeting due to COVID. We are back on stage and having a big event on the 24th and 25th of November in Amsterdam. So I will show you the link and invite you to contact us if you want to participate. During the first day of this event, you have a dedicated timing where you can pitch your ideas, but we have also a slot for SMEs pitches if you want to be part of a project and you want to be contacted by other companies. So this is really the timing of building your consortia this time, and I will mention that already that the deadline for XECS Call 2 PO, it's set up the 23rd of February 2023. So our program is the two call stage program. We start by submission of project outline end of February. If your proposal is successful, you will be able actually to submit what we call the full project proposal submission, which the end of the submission will be end of May. And at the end of this two-stage process, we have a meeting together with the public authorities to label your project, which will be followed by a funding decision. And we aim at a funding decision by September next year. Quickly, how it goes for the monitoring of your project, which we are fully involved and we support you during this period. You have the possibility to have changes in your project. You will have a project start phasing that will help you to build. For example, someone of the office is participating to the kickoff of meeting to draft you the way of working and how it is to be endorsed by a EUREKA program. A project is ended by a final review, and also at INEAS, we help you to disseminate your impact by doing some impact analysis at the end of your project. This is the call timing in more details that I already draft. So you can see for what is most important today to discuss is the PO deadline, which is the 23rd of February. So you still have time, but it's really the sooner you start, the better. I will go deeper on how to submit your proposal in my second presentation. Then you may wonder what is it, how it looks like to be a typical project. I will say this, I would like to already highlight these are average numbers. We are giving you what we are used to have. It's the only rules I will say, which is mandatory, it's to have 2 EUREKA countries involved in your projects. For the rest of the number, it's I would say discussion with the public authorities. But of course, you have to be part of the challenges which are mentioned in the ECCS 3. And the better it's to cover the full value chain. We have more and more projects that they cover the full value chain. It's a request or recommendation, or added value, I would say, maybe of the most of the national countries. So usually we have from 4 to 15 participants from different types, of course, and it represents from 2 to 30 million as a project cost. It's a project of 3 years time, so close to market. Of course, as I mentioned, you can have changes, and if you are facing, for example, some delays, which are explained, you can have extension of your project on time. So to have more specific view of what a project look like, we have taken an example of a running project with actually Swedish participation, which a very interesting project about key for real about electronic devices. You have a very good collaboration in this project between Republic Czech, France, Germany, and Sweden. This project is about transport and smart mobility and digital industry. It's a 12.9 million project cost, and you have, as you can see, quite a good participation, 21 participants, partners in this project. And you can see that you have participants from Swedish in each type of partners, from SMEs to RTOs. So which it's a very good collaboration, very good project. You can have a deeper look. I know that it's a small slide about the project profile, but this is this information is public, and you can log into our ECCS website. You have access under the projects menu to this project profile. We summarize actually what they are doing, the partners involved, and the country and details, if you are interested to see which company from Swedish are involved in this project. Here you have, it's what I give as an introduction, the countries that they are fully committed to support ECCS Call 2 program. So you can see that maybe some of you have tried and failed with France last year, but I'm very pleased to show you that France is backed and has committed. I know that there are strength link between France and Sweden. You have also Germany, that I know you are collaborating also with a Swedish partner. So here it's what is new from the ECCS Call 1. So as I mentioned, France is committed. We have a direct contact, which we encourage French participants to contact in the public authority. Luxembourg is also committed. We have United Kingdom, which is very good because they committed with a dedicated budget to XCCS Call 2. And we have also as new country partner, Monaco. This is the FX 2022 event, which I really encourage you, if possible, to attend, or really to look like, because it will be, I think, the place to be this year, for especially for XCCS Call 2. This is what I mentioned. This is a dedicated event for the brokerage event on pitches of your ideas or projects. This is just a reminder of the deadline for our XCCS Call 2. And you can follow us. I encourage you to follow us if you want to have what is new in the ECCS committee, what is going on, and in which event we are participating. So, and that's it for my first presentation. I will go deeper in the project submission in the other presentation that I will give later on. And I will show you now the presentation maybe from Frédéric about Vinnova, which is underlying the fund for XCCS Call 2, specifically for Swedish partner. So if you give me some minutes, I will maybe...
We still have issues with Frederick's computer. I'm next to him with another computer. So if you let me Toby present, Frederick will run his presentation on my computer. We hope that will work.
So I make you presenter then, Toby.
Thank you.
Yeah? Yeah, okay. It's done.
Do you see it?
No, same issue.
Okay, we have the issue on the computer. It's in presenter mode, but on the GoToMeeting, it's not on the presenter mode. We have the same issue with my computer.
Yeah. So the configuration is not correct. So you are the only one who can share materials, basically.
Maybe
you can send it to me, because I have not received anything, and I can maybe scroll down for you.
Yeah, I did it, but your mailbox is limited to 10 meg. I can send you another version of it.
But is this possible? Could you still see it now without presentation mode?
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay,
yeah.
Then we run it like this.
Then we run it.
So I master the computer and Frederick.
Well, okay.
But you still don't see the in the presentation mode, or?
No, that's the issue with the GoToMeeting. It don't work neither on mine or Frederick's computer. We have it on the computer in presentation mode, but it don't share with the GoToMeeting app.
No.
Okay. This is live.
But we don't see them. No. It's black.
No, I was thinking that as Sherazade has the same slides, would be maybe easier that she shares in the visual mode and presentation mode, and then just
yeah, but she don't have the slides. That's the issue.
I think she had, because I got the copy when Frederick sent. Maybe. Yeah.
No, I've not received it. I think it's because I'm limited to.
It's too large. 32 megabytes.
Too heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you see on the screen now? Do you see the world is facing complex challenges? Is that what you see?
Yes.
Frederick, so this is live.
Okay, that's good. So let's go back to more or less not the beginning, of course, but sorry for that. But we need to find a flow here. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Yes. Now I'm a bit confused. So maybe we jump directly to, what time is it?
Yes. So which slide do you want, Fredrik?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, so we'll skip quite important slides for the moment, but we'll share the material after this seminar so that you will be able to catch up with me, and I will also make sure maybe to have a session to present deeper aspects related to Vinnova and the intention with participating in the cluster and the call. So I will move directly to opportunities for funding in Sweden. So it's slide number 30. Yeah. So so next slide. So EUREKA in Sweden. Related to collaboration for industrial research and development. So the program aimed at strengthening the competitiveness of European industry on the world market and creating collaborations between companies and researchers in participating countries. And that combination is very important, of course, in the program, but in Sweden, this is really how we value the different proposals that are submitted. So it's very much market oriented and for the development of not only products and services, but processes, because we see that there are more and more projects related to industrial processes, considering the new technologies that are being introduced and so on, and the need for industrial processes. So at this point of time, Vinnova does invest 200 million crowns in the EUREKA program, including EUREKA cluster program, Eurostars, and also network projects that we have with some countries in bilateral collaborations. But here we'll focus on the cluster program itself. So moving to next slide. Vinnova has defined a certain number of strategic areas, and two of them, digital transformation and sustainable industry, are the main strategic areas involved in the cluster program, and considering the different focus areas that are being considered in the cluster program itself. So who could apply to for funding in Sweden in the scope of calls, and including this call, specifically the XECS call 2. So basically SMEs. So there is a requirement to have at least one SME in each project proposal. Large companies, universities, and research institutes in Europe and beyond who share the same goals and have national funding available to organizations who can apply through the cluster program. So in line with what is being required in the EUREKA program in Sweden, we consider that two participant countries should be included with at least 2 project participants. What can you apply for? As mentioned before, it's related to products, services, and processes. In thematic areas, the clusters focus on. And in here, we are considering the electronic components and systems. And usually products run 36 months. So there is a link on that slide, so you can look at what Sweden is considering as the main focus in this cluster. So next slide. So what do we assess in Sweden? So first of all, the Swedish consortium itself, that it is industry driven. We want to have that balance between companies, SMEs, and academia, research institutes. And we see that the effort from the participating companies must be at least 60% of the Swedish consortium's total work effort. And the intention here is that we move through the project to system demonstration, and our system demonstrations can then make possible activities in standardization around interoperability and so on. So we want to see that value at that stage at the end of the projects. So for the SMEs, we have requirements, and we have requirements in terms of sales and in terms of capability, considering the number of employees, to make sure that they can continue their day-to-day business development while being involved in such innovation project. Next slide, please. So how large are our grants? So Sweden is financing from 5 to 15 million crowns per project. Regarding the funding rates, so we consider a maximum of 50% of the eligible costs, and for large enterprises, a maximum of 30%. For universities and research institutes, up to 100%. And for SMEs, we are considering up to 50%. So the intention is really to create that balance and that strategic effect in the long term, basically. So next slide. Yes, next slide is showing something important. So we do value the potential. So the PO phase is very important for Sweden. We look at the potential of the project already in that phase, and also looking at the actors that are being present in the proposal. The feasibility, of course, because that's important. And then you can now see that we include equality. That's part also of our mission at Vinnova, is to include, to get that balance in the society. So with such call, we also target aspects related to sustainability, and equality is part of it. So next slide. So we mentioned earlier, related to this specific call, there is it is open now since September. So the same rules as the one presented before apply to this call. So to say that we have the same rules for all clusters in the program, and that the intention here is to make sure that we have a project portfolio that is in line with what we look at when participating in the EUREKA cluster program. So next slide. So we are available to respond to all your questions. So myself, Frédéric Pillot, and also my colleague Adela Granholm, who is also participating to this webinar. That being said, I'd like to leave the floor to you, Torbjörn, to explain a bit more about the matchmaking process here in Sweden. Thank you.
Let's see. So is my slide included?
Yes. Which version did you open? This is the other version you should open. Otherwise,
okay. So I'll share my slide.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can't share them in presentation mode. So
you can see my screen.
Yeah. So I'm Toby. I'm the acting program manager from the National Swedish Electronic System Program. We are on national level what XECS is on the European level or EUREKA level. And we have a mission to strengthen Swedish electronic component and system companies' participation in international and European funded projects. And we promote projects from our own national portfolio to go international. And we collaborate with international partners, and especially the Excel and KDT Miro Group network. We have calls. One was just released. Next call will be in January for bigger projects, but we also have feasibility or pre-studies, and one was closed in September and the decision yesterday. And these kind of pre-studies could be used to prepare an XCCS. It's too late this year, but for next year, that's the possibility to use the national pre-studies to prepare an XCCS. And our office is around 4.5 million euro, and we do also strategic projects except open calls. We have more than 450 companies in Sweden working in this field, and they have applied around 625 project proposals, of which 1/3 have been granted, slightly over 200 projects in the project portfolio the last 8 years. And we are, as I told, like the corresponding XCCS, but on national level. So we are Vinnova is doing the funding and evaluation of our calls. We have a competence hub with contacts for excellence areas we are working on in Sweden, so from microelectronics to photonics, and you will have these names and contact information if you want to be in contact with the experts in specific fields in Sweden to set up Swedish consortia or finding Swedish partners. On the international arena, we are working with our sister organization, Excel Italy, Excel Germany, Excel Austria, now ESBS Austria, in Finland, for quite good collaboration with Photonics Finland. And here in Sweden, we're also supporting Business Sweden Semiconductor by Sweden Alliance. And on the other Eurostars and EIC, we are working with the EU SME office. And before I wrap up, I will promote that we are organized several years back industry delegation to FX, and we will do the same on 24th to 25th of November in Amsterdam, and also we could support for the ECS brokerage in Brussels 7th to 8th of February. That may be too late for the XCCS calls, but there are other calls coming up. But FX is the perfect place to go for finding partners for XCCS. And this is typically, you could pitch, you could be on stage presenting your project ID, like a broad architect is doing here. And we also will have our own booth at FX, the Swedish booth, with smarter electronic system, where we have a TV screen where you could promote your material if you want to find partners. So I encourage everyone to log into this ECS collaboration tool and to pitch project, pitch ideas on screen, or booking face-to-face meeting with particular. It will be around 600 persons coming to FX, so it's a good opportunity. And with Jeanette here in this webinar, she is also the contact person from Vinnova that offer traveling grants, and it has a deadline by next week. So if you plan to go to FX and want traveling grants, you have to speed up. And I also want to stress that November 1st is the deadline for submission of posters and pitches on stage. And we will have information. If you contact me, we will gather at the same hotel in Amsterdam for the Swedish delegation. And there are a lot of opportunities when coming to FX. So this is my contact details. I will write them in the chat as well. So thank you, and don't hesitate to contact me if you want contacts either on the national level or on the international contact network that we have to setting up consortiums. So I think I hand over to Sherizas.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Toby. So I will make a link definitely with your presentation, and I will go, as we don't have so much time, I will go quicker maybe on my presentation, which is I have some I would say, a process submission presentation, which we can more or less skip, because after we can just contact us as Toby to help you, to support you in the submission of your project. So let me share then my screen for you to be able to look at this second presentation of our webinar today, which is more dedicated to the submission of the proposals itself. So I will try to describe the flow, which I already a little bit draft. And just to make, I think also what we should highlight today, it's that you have to be aware of your audiences, who is going to look at your proposal to make it a success. It's, I think, good to know who is the evaluators. Then I will introduce quickly then today the project zone. We'll just mention that the next step, it's the full project proposal. And last but not least, I think maybe the most important will be to present you the XCCS team and that you write down our contact. So this is a slide with a lot of boxes, but it's just to show you what is the flow, which I described. So from the registration into the XCCS project zone, which is a platform where you submit your projects, until the submission, the evaluation. So you can already see that you have the evaluation of technical experts, which are part of the INEAS team, and we do meetings when they do your evaluation. You will receive a detailed feedback. The decision is always a collegial decision with the public authorities, which they are also evaluating your proposal. And we do the decision, each decision will come with a consolidated evaluation. So you have really a detailed feedback of your proposal. And it's very important that you take into account this detailed feedback at the PO stage if your proposal is welcome for FPP stage. It's really important to take into account all the feedback given. So the project submission is via our platform. You have two complementary channels for providing the information. You can, in fact, upload an annex, what we call a PO annex, which is a Word document in which you have to describe, there is a guidelines, you have to follow the guideline and describe your proposal. It's mainly, I would say, the description information and graph information on your proposal. Then the second channel to put the information, it's the system itself, where you you invite your partners and you put your data, the effort, the cost of your project. Then the system is doing a merge of both information from which you have your proposal. And I would like to highlight, as I said at the beginning, that the sooner you start, you better, because you get familiar with the tool, and it's a tool where you have to invite your partners. So for being informed on your audience, so I mentioned you have technical experts that they will look into your proposal. They will focus on international level and the impact, the quality and the viability of your project as a whole. Here you have the main described in bullets, the main topic that you have to really pay attention to. So there's extending of the state of the art, the clear goals and objective. You have also to balance your consortia, which is also, as mentioned by Frederic, something that is taken into account by the national experts. You have to have really, to be ambitious in your project, but it's also to be, you have to describe that it's a reachable target. You have to convince the experts that you will reach your target, even though they are really innovative. And of course, your proposal has to be relevant for the XCCS program, so you have to target the ECCS RIA. You have in parallel the evaluation of the national countries, which will focus more on the national impact and the national level. So you have to fulfill the national funding criteria. You have to have an eligible, of course, project. So for that, we really ask you at early stage, when you are building actually your project, to contact the national country. And this is the case for you. in Sweden, but you have to also strengthen your partners from other countries to contact their national bodies to really check that they are eligible and to be proactive before the submission of your proposal. Then I will go more, I will skip a little bit this slide because I already introduced at the beginning, but I will advise you to follow them after to have a look. Each information that's written in the slide, it's really an information that you can retrieve in the Word document, which you have green boxed when you have guidelines, and we explain what are expected from you in each paragraph. So this is the skeleton of your proposal in summary. Then, as I explained, you have to use our project zone to be able to start your proposal. So this is more or less how you log in and you create your project. And which is important to log in advance is because you have to invite your partners and they have to accept your invitation before you are able to edit the information of your proposal online. So this I will skip, and if you have any question, I'm really more than pleased to reply to you. You will have my contact details, and specifically on the project zone, I can give you the full support. So at the end, before submitting your project, you have, it's even the tool, the system, it's a guideline tool. So you have a checklist and you have blocking points if you have not provided mandatory information, which is quite clear because you have read blocking point. And you have to be aware that the 23rd of February, it's a deadline. We don't give extra deadline. This is because we have to, as you have seen, we have to handle an evaluation steps, which needs to be the same for everybody. So this is a summary of the different steps that you have before handling your proposal. The next step, as I already mentioned, will be the full project proposal. The main differences, I will say, that it is from the PO to the FPP is that you have to provide the work package details for the FPP. And as mentioned, you have to take into account, I really insist on this point because it's something that we look at the FPP if you are really understood and give all the feedback that have been provided to you, either by the public authorities or by the experts. So I remind you the deadline again. And this is our team. So on the IDs step and the consortium of rebuilding, you can contact either one of us, and which is myself, Patrick, or Nadia. On more specific technical items, it's more Patrick with his our technical advisor, which will reply to you. So, and if you have any question, I'm pleased to reply also already today. So thank you for your attention.
Yes, thank you very much, Sherazad. You have been pretty quick to present the work processes, and including the project zone and the submission.
Because I wanted to give the floor to for any questions.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to say now. So we can open the floor for questions, and we'll be able to respond to those questions during the webinar, or they can be answered after the webinar in case need more inputs. So just unmute yourself. Welcome, Doug.
Yeah, thank you for an interesting presentation. I'm from Norrköping Science Park, and we are pretty much a traditional science park, so we try to make use of the research and the competence at Linköping University. That's our main thing. And we have like a cluster of, let's say, 10 to 15 companies, but they are in the field of organic and printed and wood-derived electronics. Is that something that I know I know Toby, so but is that relevant in this program?
Yes, sorry, Doug, we've lost it during a few seconds. Could you repeat your question, please?
Aha, okay, sorry. Yeah, yes, I mean, I don't know where you lost me, but we are a science park, and we work a lot with in a field called printed and organic electronics, and now also it's more and more wood-derived electronics, and these kind of technologies. I mean, the idea is to replace minerals and metals, for instance, with more abundant materials and also renewable materials. Is there a place for those kind of things in this program?
Who would like to respond? Toby, you've been in contact with Doug from
we have been so on national level we support this, and to my understanding also XCCS, but also the KDT program, they support everything from material up to system and even system of system. But it's important to keep the entire value chain, so it's not just the basic material research. You need to find application and showing demonstration.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Of the application. So there are 6 application fields, and you need to address and also have some demonstration.
Okay, okay, understood. So we can't come with like a new company doing negative charge, P-dot ink, N-ink, so that they need to put themselves into a value chain and to be in question here, right?
Maybe I can complement. So if you look into the strategic research innovation agenda that Shirazade has pointed out, that's the ground for both the cluster, the XECS, but also use it as a guideline, as a roadmap for the KDT calls. So it doesn't matter what is the electronics technology. It could be bioelectronics. It's very interesting. We actually in Sweden are very good on that. We see that the research that's being done for more than a decade is now really giving charging possibilities with biomaterials. So that's great. And I think we should actually expose that more, talking about the European ecosystem. So of course, that's important, and we have seen projects involving that in the international arena, both for EUREKA and other programs. So absolutely.
That sounds great, but I mean, in reality, many times we are talking about hybrid solutions where bioelectronics is part of a more traditional architecture, for instance. You've all seen the Northvolt and where they replace a part of the anode is now hard carbon from lignin, and the rest is the same thing. So I think that's as I see it, I'm not an expert in materials, but I think the combination, this hybrid stuff, is where the low-hanging fruit is, and then we need to attach what we are doing here to the the established electronics world, and we see a big opportunity there, of course. So yeah, okay, that sounds good. Can I ask another question? People like us, like a science park, and we are, pretty much a relationship a broker, so, or an intermediate. Where does we fit into this? Is this program? I mean, I understand it's for the SMEs, of course, and creating all this wonderful electronics, but what could we do in here to help? I mean, because we don't have any stakes in any technology. We're just working for others succeeding, and that's our job. But I'm thinking about these network events. Is that something that we could attend, or should we attend? Or, I mean, I like this concept. I think it's a strong concept, but I just need to understand where innovation intermediate like ourselves fit into this.
Yeah, Adela, you were to respond?
You can do that, Fredrik, if you want to.
That's the beauty of such a program, which is very much bottom-up oriented, and we enter a phase which is very important. I would say it's almost the most important phase of the call itself, when actors do have possibilities to network and to build up proposals, including several project parts, potential project parts. And you will be able to use, for instance, the collaboration tool to present your idea and also to look for partners. And there you will have the possibility to look for an SME, for instance, in a specific area in the value chain, so that you can bring your idea in a proposal that is more aligned with what is expected when we move towards demonstrating in the electronic component system area the potential of what you were presenting here. And I think that's really the intention here. And when you make yourself visible with your idea, you increase your chances to attract as well potential partners. And this is what we look at here, both on national level, because at the point of time we will evaluate in Sweden the Swedish consortium, because this is the part of the project that we finance, but also internationally, other partners from other countries that you might have already identified. And your profile is very important, combined with in the ecosystem with the industry and academia and of course the research institute, but you know very much about, because in where you are in the Norrköping and Linköping, you're in contact directly with those institutes. So yes, absolutely, you have a great profile for
because we see that you know, our companies, they're pretty small, all of them. It's a young industry, you know, this field. Even though the research has been going on for 22 years here, 23, which is not a long time for research, but now but we always see that, you know, okay, our companies, if we call them that, they have just a piece of the puzzle. They need to work together with others. The competition is fierce, and it needs to be state of the art, you know, every bit of it, and they need to cooperate with others. And to some extent, we see that between the companies here, but they also, they need to find other partners, international partners, many times, I think, to be successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to these matchmaking events, for example, the FX coming up in a month. So if you don't want to go, I think most of these small companies, they don't have the time actually to go.
No, they don't have the time. Yeah.
And either you go or you make presentation and I cover up and I will be there, and we will have a smarter electronic booth, and we will share slides there. And then, then they could provide 2 or 3 PowerPoint slides, and we represent them. And if there are interest from these 600 attendances into the printed electronics, we could make the matchmaking and provide contact.
So Toby, let's touch base about that after the meeting sometime here or next week or something. Sounds interesting. Yeah. So we provide with materials, so we go there. Yeah.
We just have 1 minute. Oh, no minute more anymore. But I'm thinking about maybe it's an idea for the next year, EFEX, if we can discuss this with the different science parks in Sweden. Absolutely. Maybe the representatives of the science parks could participate and have something together, maybe with smart electronic systems or in other way, in order to expose more the small companies that don't have the possibility or the time to go. That's something to think about for next year.
Yeah, that sounds great. And thank you very much, Doug, for very, very good questions and very relevant questions. Because that's exactly what we look at.
Great seminar. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry for the technical issues that happened. That's part of life. But what is going to happen now is that we are going to share the material with you. In 2 weeks' time, we will organize a Q&A session, so via Teams in Sweden. So you participants to this webinar, but also any other potential participant will be able to attend the Q&A session and will be able to respond to some questions. As you can see, it's a cooperation on national level, international level here with different stakeholders, which is the beauty of the work we are doing. So yeah, you are most welcome with your questions. Any question will support you. That's part of the coaching process as well for you to send some interesting project outlines, and which is a very important phase. And that being said, wish you good luck and a great weekend, and thank you for attending this webinar.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank you very much.
day and weekend.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.